We're celebrating my birthday at Topolino's Terrace tonight, and if you're wondering whether this is actually worth booking for a special occasion at Disney, I'm breaking down what the full dinner experience really feels like, from the food to the fireworks. Walking out, my honest thought was, this was absolutely worth it. And something I think is important to say up front, this doesn't feel like hotel dining. It feels like a destination in itself. Disney's Riviera Resort is somewhere I would visit even if I wasn't staying there. The mosaics outside, the European aesthetics, and even the hallway lined with photographs from Walt Disney's Riviera Vacations. It all feels intentionally designed. Topolinos sits right at the top of that. Topolino's Terrace, Flavors of the Riviera, is the signature rooftop restaurant at Disney's Riviera Resort. For dinner, it serves elevated French and Italian-inspired cuisine, everything from fresh seafood and handmade pastas to steak and decadent desserts, all with sweeping views from the top floor. It's inspired by the cliffside restaurants of the French and Italian Riviera and named for the Italian name for Mickey Mouse. Dinner here felt elevated without feeling intimidating. It's an open room with windows everywhere, so it's not an intimate tucked away booth situation. You're sitting in the middle of the space, but that's part of the charm. You're up high, you have views. It feels celebratory without being stiff. We didn't feel rushed at all. The pacing was excellent. Food didn't come out too fast. It didn't drag either. There were very few kids at dinner, which makes sense. I would probably recommend the character breakfast here for families with little ones. Dinner feels more relaxed and more adult focused. Dress-wise, it's elevated but forgiving. Some people clearly came from the parks, others were dressed up a bit. You don't feel out of place either way. Advanced dining reservations are highly recommended here. Topolino's Terrace is a signature restaurant and it books up fast, especially if you're aiming for a time that lines up with fireworks. There's a lounge off the side of the main dining room where you can walk up and order food or a drink if you're just passing by, but it's not guaranteed to have capacity, so it isn't something I would go out of my way for. This meal is worth the reservation. I started with the modern-fashioned Knob Creek Rye, Appleton Estates Reserve Rum, vanilla bean, and bitters. It was spirit-forward but smooth. The vanilla was there, but it wasn't sweet or syrupy, and it came over one large cube stamped with the Riviera logo, which is such a small detail, but it sets the tone immediately. It felt like a real cocktail, not a theme park version of one. Dinner here starts with a complimentary bread service, gorgeous, warm French-style bread with a really high-quality olive oil for dipping. It sets the tone for the elevated meal to come. We started with the Escargot en Gougères, savory pot de choux with butter, garlic, lemon, and parsley. If you're hesitant about escargot, this is a very approachable version. It wasn't chewy at all. The garlic and lemon kept it bright, and that pastry element gave it texture and lift. It was elevated but not intimidating. For our entree, we split the filet mignon with truffle pomme puree, broccolini, cherry champignon ragu, and red wine bordelaise. We ordered it medium rare and it was cooked perfectly. The sear was right, the center was exactly what we asked for. And honestly, splitting it worked beautifully. At this stage in life, we don't need two massive entrees, and this was more than enough for both of us, and we finished it feeling pleasantly full, not heavy or sluggish. And then the warm chocolate cake. It has a caramel center, and when I cut into it, it actually oozed out. That molten moment did not disappoint. By the time I came back inside from watching the fireworks, dessert was waiting at the table, and that timing felt almost intentional, like the whole evening was paced around enjoying it. There are worse ways to spend a birthday.
Welcome.
This 7:35 p.m. reservation wasn't an accident. You can see the fireworks from inside if you have a window table. I chose to step out onto the terrace for a clearer view and some footage. The music is piped into the terrace bar was open, and it felt celebratory without being chaotic. But here's the key, I would absolutely eat here even without the fireworks. I have. The fireworks aren't required to make this dinner great. They are the polish on an already strong experience. I also consider this an EPCOT area restaurant because it's just a Skyliner right away. If you're staying near EPCOT or touring the Skyliner resorts, this is absolutely in play. Just don't make the mistake of parking at EPCOT, taking the Skyliner over for dinner, and assuming you can re-enter through the International Gateway after the park closes. You won't. If EPCOT is closed, you can't walk back through to the front parking lot. You are allowed to park at the Riviera Resort with a dining reservation. Just tell them at the gate and they will look you up. On my personal Disney rating scale, I'd put this at about an 8.5 out of 10, not because anything was lacking, but because Disney does have ultra curated experiences like Victoria and Albert's or Monsieur Paul that operate in an entirely different stratosphere. But for a celebratory dinner that feels elevated, relaxed, thoughtfully paced, and even better if you time it with the fireworks, this absolutely delivers. If you want one dinner on your Disney trip that feels intentional, not rushed, not chaotic, Topolino's is a strong choice. And if you enjoy thoughtful grown-up Disney dining reviews like this, consider subscribing. I've been building out a whole series comparing signature restaurants across property. And if you're comparing this to something like Bourbon Steak or Sanaa, I have full reviews of those as well. Thanks for meandering to Topolino's Terrace Flavors of the Riviera with me. I'll see you in the next video.